1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. Hello, hello.
Mic check, 1, 2, 3. Mic check, 1, 2. All right. Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
They're not a bad thing?
No, it's like the circle of life.
Oh. As long as you didn't circle around your house.
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
It's what it looks like now.
I don't know. Yeah. Today I found out how the fires we're seeing right here in the Tennessee Valley measure up. Fires aren't necessarily a bad thing. Now they're saying we're super pixelated.
With coverage you can count on, this is Channel 3 Eyewitness News at 11 in HD.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cameron Taylor. Thank you for joining us tonight. Smoke from the Tennessee Valley fires caused the sky to appear overcast today. In Georgia, forestry crews remain on scene in Dade and Walker counties. In Hamilton County, Florida, forestry crews have taken command of the fires on Mowbray and Signal Mountains, as well as a new one from overnight on Poe Road in Soddy Daisy. Forestry crews in Georgia are using their experience fighting fires out west to help them here at home tonight. They're working day and night to make sure homes in the Cloverdale and Tatum Gulf communities are protected. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Heron has our story tonight. We'll come right back to her. Meanwhile, fire crews from around the region and locally are turning their attention to a new fire that sparked overnight here in Hamilton County. Right now, the fire on Poe Road has burned 150 acres and is 15% contained. Florida forestry crews were called in to help with this fire and the ones burning on Mowbray Mountain and in the Flipper Bend area. Right now, they're encouraging neighbors to keep an eye out in case the flames get closer to homes.
To make sure that you have a good defensible space around your home, meaning try to get that 30 feet buffer between the back of your home and the wood line.
The Flipper Bend wildfire is nearly contained at 90%. It's burned 1,000 acres so far. Neighbors in the Boston Branch subdivision evacuated, but we're told they can come back home since it's now safe. As for the Mowbray Mountain fire, it's 50% contained and has burned more than 600 acres. The U.S. Forest Service closed the entire Citigo Creek Wilderness and the portion of the Joyce-Kilmer Slick Rock Wilderness in the Cherokee National Forest here in Tennessee. A Cherokee National Forest official says the closure was necessary for safety reasons due to wildfire activity in the Joyce-Kilmer Slick Rock Wilderness in North Carolina. Now, there's a possibility of that fire moving into the Cherokee National Forest. The Tennessee Department of Agriculture has issued a burn ban prohibiting all open-air fires in Hamilton and Marion counties. This means no burning, including recreational fires. A violation of the burn ban is considered reckless burning, and you could face a fine plus jail time. The Tennessee Emergency Management Agency says that wildfires have already burned more than 6,000 acres in Bledsoe, Hamilton, Monroe, and Sequatchie counties in the past month, and 53 fires are currently burning more than 9,000 acres statewide. And as wildfires burn nearly every county in the Channel 3 viewing area, more of those communities are giving immeasurable support to firefighters. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Tanisha Cordell continues our team coverage tonight and shows us how that support is making an impact.
Well, Saturday is all about giving as the Soddy Daisy community is rallying together to help fuel the firefighters fighting these wildfires.
We did our first drive last weekend. It was a lot smaller. The firefighters kind of ran through all of that pretty quickly, so we just started following more posts and we organized this drive.
Scenic City Serves organizer Donnie Davidson is used to helping people, so this time was no different. After watching the news for weeks, he and his team kicked off a donation drive in Soddy Daisy Saturday.
I just appreciate their effort. You know, I know a lot of us, we go to bed at night and we wake up in the morning, we check the news to see, you know, what's going on with the fires, but we don't realize that they have spent all night working. You know, a lot of those guys, I mean, they're not going home.
A daily effort and sacrifice many people who dropped off donations say they appreciate.
It's very important to us that we make a collective effort to get the fires put out, keep everybody safe.
Big hearts filled trailer after trailer with water, snacks, sanitary products, you name it. Next stop, Waldens Ridge Volunteer Fire Department.
It's really hard to talk about and not cry. We've just been completely overwhelmed with the support from our community. So many people are coming together to help not just our fire department, but all the departments, and it just means so much.
A community support system, Davidson says, is here to stay.
Just keep doing what they're doing and we'll take care of them. I think there's enough good people in Soddy Daisy and the Hickson area, then, you know, and like I said, in Chattanooga as a whole, we'll keep supporting them until it's finished.
All of the donations collected Saturday will be split and distributed to firefighters throughout the county. Now, to stay updated on the fires, head to our website, WRCBTV.com. In Soddy Daisy, Tanisha Cordell, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Thank you, Tanisha. Forestry crews again in Georgia are using their experience to fight fires out west to help them here at home tonight. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Michelle Herron has our story tonight from Dade County.
The line of orange flames snakes into the brush along Tatum Gulf Road.
I stayed up all night.
An alarming sight for those who live here. Firefighters with the Georgia Forestry Commission meet the flames with hoses in hand. They spent the day burning areas around these homes on purpose. Julian Wilson watched the fire char his landscape. He has no choice but to trust these professionals will keep his home safe.
Never seen anything like this, but they've got a good handle on it. They've got a good plan, and they're following it to a T.
Wilson, like many in the Tennessee Valley, have only heard of wildfires like this happening out west. Seth Hawkins with the Georgia Forestry Commission says crews are using their experience from fighting those fires here at home.
Fire actually climbs up a hill faster than it does on flat land. So we've been having to just basically do things to slow it down. So a lot of those tactics have seemed similar to what you see out west.
Fires in California and the Rocky Face Mountains are typically a lot bigger. Crews are able to allow those fires to burn because they don't threaten structures. But here, the story is different. There are about 25 homes along this road. They all need protection.
Burning out the fuel for the fire, so when the fire gets to the home lots, there's nothing else to burn, so the fire just kind of goes off on it, goes out.
Even though more than 500 acres burn on Lookout Mountain, Hawkins says fires can actually be a good thing. They help reset the ecosystem's clock.
A lot of the species in the southern forest are fire adapted and actually kind of like that. If we can get through all this whole fire season without any injuries and no structure damage, which so far we have, in the end of the day, this might honestly could be kind of good for the forest.
And Wilson hopes what's good for the forest is not bad for the neighborhood.
It'll be smoky up here for probably 3 or 4 weeks.
And that was Michelle Heron reporting for us tonight. Now, the wildfires across the Tennessee Valley are creating some very smoky conditions. Meteorologist Nick Austin is standing by in the Storm Center. And Nick, when can we expect any sort of rain?
Well, it looks like our next chance is probably not going to be for another week. If we're lucky, we'll get a few showers next Saturday. So until then, we're going to be putting up, unfortunately, dealing with these fires still and with smoke and haze. Now, this is kind of the prettier side of that story because this is a beautiful picture sent to us from Ottawa, from Angela Sims, one of our viewers, of a beautiful sunset. And the sun just looking nice and red and orange through the haze of the smoke over the tree line. So a beautiful picture there, but unfortunately, just the conditions themselves, not good. Staying dry and cool through the rest of the weekend, even in the next week. And the wildfires will continue to burn. Hopefully no new ones will continue to pop up, but there's always that chance. Smoke and haze will continue to be in the forecast as well. So especially not good for folks who have asthma or other breathing problems. You're at the highest risk as far as spending any prolonged hours outside. You want to stay indoors as much as possible. Even if you step outside right now at nighttime, the haze is still out there and you can smell the smoke. 46 in the city, 41 up in Cleveland. It's already down to 40 in Altamont. And as you head up towards Pikeville, it's around 42. Winds are calm, and that's a big difference between what happened today during the day and tonight and into tomorrow. The winds are going to be a lot lighter. So that means the smoke won't be blowing around as much. But with the lighter winds, you get more of that haze that's kind of lying lower in the atmosphere and closer to the ground. So that'll be a problem. We have some clouds, actual clouds developing from near Dalton, Fort Mountain, down towards Rome, Georgia, and up into Murphy and northeast Georgia with a little low pressure system that's beginning to develop off to our south and east. So we could see a few more clouds because of that tomorrow. But overall, high pressure will continue to give us very dry weather tomorrow once again. A chance of rain not coming up until maybe again in about a week or so. So we'll expect to see another dry day tomorrow with more smoke. You'll be able to smell it out there and also more haze from that smoke. That'll continue all the way through tomorrow night into Monday and even into Tuesday as well, and even into the middle part of the week. And temperatures will even get a little bit warmer, so that's not going to help. Extreme to exceptional drought. Really almost the whole viewing area is under the exceptional drought conditions right now, which is the worst category. But we are expecting a cold night, especially in the sheltered valleys in the metro area away from the city, where there could be frost late tonight and early tomorrow, and back in the middle Tennessee with a freeze warning. So there could be a hard, widespread freeze over in middle Tennessee late tonight. Rainfall deficit for the year is now almost 19¼ inches. We hit 64 after a low of 50 this morning, but the lowest temperature for the whole day so far is actually where we're at now at 48. We had highs in the 60s all across North Georgia, except Fort Mountain was in the 50s. The metro area, except for the mountains, were in the 60s as well. And same for the areas north of town. High elevations were in the upper 50s with low 60s elsewhere. Tonight, more smoke and haze. Be careful out there. 40 degrees for the low in the city. 63 tomorrow with more smoke and haze, otherwise sunshine. And then some more smoke and haze sticks around for tomorrow night. 38 degrees for the low, and that's really just going to be the rule for the forecast here over the next several days. Smoky, hazy, so you have to just be really careful out there, and very, very dry conditions as well. And highs will be approaching the low 70s. We'll get warmer by Wednesday and Thursday with lows in the 40s. Maybe a few showers by next Saturday, but before then, I don't think we'll see any rain at all.
Sure.
But hopefully we'll get some rain coming next weekend, at least for part of the weekend.
And I think a lot of people
we need
saw,
it bad.
Yeah, they do. And a lot of us saw that blanket of smoke across
Yes.
the Tennessee Valley just for hours today.
It got a lot worse during the latter half of the afternoon. New fires popping up. The winds were still whipping around, just blowing the smoke everywhere. But it's not as bad tonight. It won't be as bad tomorrow because the winds will be lighter. And the winds will be moving in the opposite direction. So the crews out there will have to keep that in mind.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much,
bet.
Nick. Well, reporter Michelle Heron has been tracking some of those wildfires in North Georgia. She's joining us live tonight from Dade County. And Michelle, what are you seeing right now?
Hey, good evening to you, Cameron. Now, the evening crews have been here on the scene in Dade County for just a couple of hours now. They're going to be here all evening long, monitoring the homes around here to make sure that they are safe. Now, there are 2 fires burning on the Georgia side of Lookout Mountain. These crews are expecting these fires to merge at some point, and they'll become one fire. And they're still continuing to monitor this, though. Now, even though that these firefighters work for the Georgia Forestry Commission, they're actually sent all over the country, and they're using that experience from fighting in different regions right here in Georgia. They tell me that the terrain here is just like what they experience when they're out west. And one thing that I know I learned today is that when a fire is going uphill or up a mountain, it actually burns faster than what it would on flat land. So these are some of the things that they're coming up against, and they're taking very seriously the monitoring around the homes here. Now, they're actually doing controlled burns around homes because then that way, if the wildfires do come up, there won't be anything fueling those fires, and they'll kind of burn themselves out. So that is the good news, is that they're taking this very, very seriously. And if there's anything that you're wanting to know, how can you protect your home? What can you do to help protect your health? There's lots and lots of smoke. I know for me, today what I experienced smoke-wise was the worst from all of these days. So we have lots and lots of information all posted on WRCBTV.com. We're monitoring all of these fires very, very closely, and we'll keep you guys updated on air and online. But for now, reporting live out of Dade County, I'm Michelle Heron, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
All right. Thank you, Michelle. We'll have more stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. An Alabama man faces charges in Bradley County for shooting a gun on I-75. The Bradley County Sheriff's Office tells us a deputy stopped a black car on Georgetown Road and noticed the driver had a gun holster on his hip. They'd received reports of someone in a car similar to that one shooting a gun on the interstate. A passenger in the car told the deputy the driver fired a gun at the ground because another car was driving recklessly around them on the interstate. The driver, 18-year-old Neil Edward Irby Jr., was arrested and charged with reckless endangerment. A case of mistaken identity sent one man to the hospital. Family members say 60-year-old James Russell is in critical condition right now. Bradley County Sheriff's deputies say they caught Christopher Hines holding the man in a headlock at Red Clay State Park. They say Hines thought he spotted the driver of a truck who took off from the scene of a crash he was involved in earlier in the day on Appleton Pike. Deputies say Russell wasn't the driver of the truck. Hines is now facing aggravated assault charges after officials say he mistook Russell for someone else. We're told Hines bonded out of jail. And we'll be right back with sports. Joel will have your latest highlights.
With running back Alvin Kamara back in Tennessee's lineup for the first time in almost a month, the Vols were able to put up their best rushing performance of the year today against Kentucky. Tennessee ran for a season-high 376 yards and had a trio of players rush for 94 yards or more. After the Wildcats got on the board first, senior quarterback Josh Dobbs started the scoring for UT with this 24-yard pass to Josh Smith to tie it at 7-7. Then Dobbs follows it up with a big run here, and he gets smashed while leaping at the 1-yard line. Vols would then punch it in to take the lead and then extend it here in the second quarter as Dobbs fires another one to Ethan Wolf, 10 yards for the Tennessee touchdown. UT led 21-13 at the break and, like usual, ran away with it this second half. Dobbs throws it deep to Josh Malone, 51 yards for another Big Orange score. Then, still in the third, Alvin Kamara gets back to his old running ways as he rushes in his first of 2 touchdowns on the day. Vols win it 49-36 over Kentucky. For more on today's game, we turn now to sports director Paul Shaheen, who spent the day in Knoxville.
Go ahead and call this one Tennessee's most complete game of the season. It was number 11 paving the way with a near career day. 373 total yards with 5 total touchdowns as the Vols run over Kentucky, keeping their SEC title hopes alive.
We just knew that we needed to run him. And, you know, Josh is really effective when, he can run the football and obviously throw the football, and that opens up so many things for us offensively. And it all starts up front. Again, I thought our offensive line did, a very, very, very good job.
It's fun, I mean, Dobbs is the best running back on the team. You got 181 rushing yards.
Just happy for this football team. We're in a 2-game playoff.
It was definitely cool to be back, to be in the picture, and we came as freshmen wanting to get Tennessee back in this picture and be in the position we are today. So now we have to take advantage of this opportunity.
All eyes now shift to next Saturday. For Tennessee to win the East, they need an LSU win over Florida, and the Vols need to beat Missouri, followed by Vanderbilt to close the season. Inside Neyland Stadium, I'm Paul Shaheen, Channel 3 Eyewitness Sports.
And as Paul mentioned, the Vols' next game against Missouri is back in Neyland next week, 3:30 kickoff. Well, after a bye week last week, the Mocs were looking forward to getting back to business today, hosting conference rival Wofford on Senior Day. Even though the Citadel had already taken the SoCon title, a win today would most likely guarantee a first-round bye and home game in the playoffs. But they would have to get past the Terriers first, and that would prove to be a problem. Chattanooga came out strong on its opening drive as junior quarterback Alejandro Benefield completes the pass to Ricardre Bagley, who breaks the tackle and runs in the first points of the game. Mocs up 7-0, but that didn't last long. On the very next play, Wofford returns the punt all the way back 100 yards for the Terriers touchdown, tying it 7-all. Then, with a minute left in the first, Mocs answer with a strong 75-yard drive, ending with this Derek Crane Train touchdown, who just returned after recovering from an injury the last 3 weeks. Wofford didn't let up, though. The Mocs, on their own 1-yard line here, fumble the ball, and it's recovered by the Terriers for a safety. Then, 10 seconds left before halftime, Benefield hits Bagley on the outside, who runs it into the end zone to cut the lead. UTC trailed 26-21 at the break, but the Terriers' ground game proved difficult to stop. Wofford scored 2 more touchdowns the second half and put up 247 rushing yards against the Mocs, ultimately running their way to the win. Mocs fall 36-28 in their final conference game.
I told our guys afterwards I thought they fought. Wofford fought. We fought. If both teams fight and play hard, normally when teams are pretty comparable, the team that doesn't turn the ball over is probably going to win the game, and that's what happened today.
Everybody's hurting. I mean, anybody who's competitive, this hurts. I know I'm hurting. I mean, it's not fun to lose any game. But I mean, we're back in the office tomorrow and back to work.
The Mocs will need to get back to work and soon to prepare for their next opponent. UTC will hit the road to Tuscaloosa to take on #1 Alabama this Saturday. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. The game will be aired on ESPN2. And while we're on the subject of the defending national champs, the Crimson Tide returned home today to take on Mississippi State, who, if you remember, took down then #4 Texas A&M last week. But as usual, the Tide was rolling from the start. Freshman Jalen Hurts fakes the handoff, fires it to Calvin Ridley for the 4-yard touchdown, 10-0 Alabama in the first quarter. Then, this time it's Hurts with a handoff to Ardarius Stewart, who does the rest, 67 yards to the house. Hurts was responsible for 5 touchdowns, tying a school record, as Alabama would go on to win this one, as well as Georgia. I want to mention very quickly, Georgia won big today. They won 13-7 over Auburn. All right, that's it for sports. One last look at your weather when we come back.
More smoke and haze as these wildfires burn. Just be careful out there. We'll have lows down to freezing outside of the city in a lot of spots overnight. Have a great night.
With running back Alvin Kamara back in Tennessee's lineup for the first time in almost a month, the Vols were able to put on their best rushing performance of the year yesterday against Kentucky. Tennessee ran for a season-high 376 yards and had a trio of players rush for 94 yards or more. After the Wildcats got on the board first, senior quarterback Josh Dobbs started the scoring for UT with his 24-yard pass to Josh Smith to tie the game. Then Dobbs follows it up with a big run and is smashed out while leaping at the 1-yard line. Vols would punch it in to take the lead and then extend it here in the second quarter as Dobbs fires one to Ethan Wolf 10 yards for the Tennessee touchdown. UT led 21-13 at the break and, like usual, ran away with it the second half. Dobbs throws it deep to Josh Malone, 51 yards for another big orange score. Then, still in the third, Alvin Kamara gets